Now, last question, Ethan. Now, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Now,
Mhm.
you said that it mentioned with Jimmy Bam and Tyler, right? What do you think about the roster construction that the Miami Heat have put around them? Because like it's kind of like what you said, like it starts like with them first. So with us not really having a quote unquote power forward next to Bam Adebayo for
Mm.
the past few years, like when it comes down to Caleb Martin and with Highsmith, yes, they can do it. And then same
Right.
thing with the point guard next to Tyler Hero. You know how they always say that Tyler Hero is not the best defender. So in terms of just adding to the core that we have, do you think that the Miami Heat have done their best job with putting the right players to complement our best players?
Well, there's really well, there's two ways to look at this. There's what Pat Riley might do and what Eric Spoelstra likes to do, right? So I mean, you're ultimately getting the players that your coach is going to use. If it was up to Pat, okay, I firmly believe he would find someone 6'10" or taller, you know, to bang on the boards, take that burden off of Bam, and free him up. Spo's not going to play that guy. I mean, unless the guy is elite, he's not going to play that guy. And so what they basically have is they've got a bunch of guys who can play the four who all do something a little different but aren't perfect for it. Like if you got Kevin Love 5, 6, 7 years ago, he's perfect. Like he's absolutely perfect for what you need next to Bam. But now he can only do it in spurts. If you have Jovic 5 years from now, he might be perfect. But right now he's not. So what's the alternative? Okay, so you play an athlete in Caleb, or you play kind of a grunt defender in Haywood, right? And they're midgets compared to the guys that they're going against most nights. But they didn't really have a choice early in the season because Kyle couldn't defend anybody at the point of attack. So that made it impossible to play when they were playing Jovic with him. I'm like, how exactly are you going to defend guards? Because, or are you playing Love with him? You had to play Highsmith or Martin because you have to have your fours basically pick up the other team's ones and twos because you couldn't have Tyler and Kyle do it. Now that you have Terry, he's not a great defender, but he gives you a chance. And so I feel like there's a little bit more flexibility at the full spot now where they could play Love a little longer, could play Jovic a little more. The thing with Jovic is he needs the ball in his hands, and this team isn't ready to give it to him. But there's also people in the organization who are not willing to give up on him. Like Chet Kammerer, we saw him there today. I guess he's never really going to retire. He loves it. That's his pet project, and Adam Simon. And Pat trusts those two guys. So I don't think they're going to give up Jovic. They were willing to give him up for Dame. They were not willing to give up. Uh, they were not willing to give up Hawkes. Pat was willing to give him up. Others in the organization were not. They would defer to Pat ultimately, but I just feel like they what they need is a Dorian Finney-Smith type. But were you going to give up 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith? No. So I think that Spo will mix and match right now. I think Jimmy will end up playing a lot of four in the playoffs when it just comes down to it, and they'll get Duncan out there to space or they'll get Jaquez. And look, I think Jaime ultimately may be the four. I I think he might because Jaime can defend the position. He's stronger than he looks. And I think we've seen lately teams are taking away certain things from him. He loves offensively, he loves that spin to the middle. They're not giving it to him anymore. He's going to have to adjust to the adjustments. But I do think overall, he's going to be a starter next year. So you got to find a place for him to start because the way that they talk about him to me, and they were talking about this 2 months ago, our future is Bam, Tyler, and Jaime, and maybe Nico. So that's the build. It's Jimmy is this is a bridge build. It's it's a bridge build from Jimmy to that group. And then they're gonna have a tough decision to make. If Jimmy's not gonna be one of your 2 or 3 lead guys, are you paying him $50 million for 2 more years after this? And that's gonna be where we start to have some interesting conversations.
I agree. So thank you so much. Thanks for joining us again, Ethan. We really appreciate your time. Thanks for all the information. So the Miami Heat, we have a couple days off until our next game, and we're at our inflection point right now. This is a very important stretch, as we've mentioned in prior episodes. The schedule's been really tough after that 7-game losing
Yeah.
streak, but more importantly, this road trip is going to be super tough. Playing the Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, Pelicans, Kings, Nuggets. The only easy game we have in there is the Trailblazers. So
They're
this is
not
going to be
home
a
the whole
really
month.
important stretch.
Yeah. They're,
Yeah,
they're not home the whole month. And I think that's why they wanted to get Rozier in early. so that they could at least get him acclimated somewhat before they hit this stretch. And I look, the goal right now is hold the 5 or the 6. Just hold it. Don't end up in the 7. Don't end up in a play-in situation. I don't think they're afraid of anybody in the East. Boston is the one team, obviously talent-wise, but they also know they can win on that floor. They're not afraid of Milwaukee. Certainly not afraid of Philadelphia with Embiid's situation. Not afraid of Cleveland. Not afraid of New York. They need a motivated, energized Jimmy Butler, and they feel like they can compete with just about anyone. And they have to figure out a way to just scrape out enough wins to hold the 6 and not end up in a play-in situation where it comes down to 1 or 2 games. I think if they get the 5 or the 6, they can win a series starting on the road against a New York, against a Cleveland. I don't think that freaks them out in any way.
Yeah, it's frustrating that people say that this team is built to be a playoff team and that we turn it up in the playoffs and Jimmy awakens, in April, May, June. And I'm tired of that because if you look back at the last 10 teams that won the championship, 7 out of 10 were the number 1 seed. That's 70%. Yeah. If we go back to when the ABA or BAA merged with the NBA in 1950, so for the last 73 years, 51 out of 73 that won, guess what seed they were? Number 1. Guess what percent that is? 70. Numbers don't lie. So it's cool that we're trying to optimistically get to that 5th or 6th seed. But we mentioned this on another episode. When was the last time that happened? Houston Rockets, 1995, they were the 6th seed. 1969, the Celtics, the 4th seed. It doesn't happen for a reason. You need to be it's not mutually exclusive. I feel like you need to be a good team, take it serious in order to go far. And I am biased. I am a Heat fan, and I'm satisfied that we're a good team and we're not like a poverty franchise, right? Only half the league has ever won a championship. So I'm obviously happy and blessed that we've won 3, but it's not good enough at this point to just get there at this point. I'm tired of getting to the finals. I don't know. We need to shake things up, I guess, and just be healthy, I guess, for one. Who knows? I mean, health has always been an issue with us in terms of seeding, but we'll see. So this is going to be a big stretch. But anyway, thank you so much again, Ethan. We really appreciate you. If you want to plug in where people can find you, if you want to let the audience know.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. 5 Reasons Sports Twitter account. We post everything there, but we do recommend not just check out the 5 on the Floor podcast, which we go daily, but also our Discord called Off the Floor. We're up to over 500 members there now, and that's where you can communicate with other Heat fans. You get away from Twitter, X, all that. It's just Heat Talk, and $2.99 per month, and it's all day. And the hosts of 5 on the Floor, we pop in there with updates and behind the scenes stuff. So we're moving away from Twitter. We're moving more to Off the Floor. So make sure you check that out. And also, you can watch the games with us on playback. We do every game on playback. We do the play-by-play, and that's free. So just download the playback app and look for 5 Reasons Sports, and we'll be on there tomorrow at 2:00 against this game against the Celtics. But thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And we'll see. I think they're going to be okay. They're going to be okay. And if they're not, I do think they'll make changes this offseason. So you got something to look forward to one way or the other.
Thank you, Ethan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ethan. We appreciate it.
Nice to meet you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care.